Hello everyone, welcome back to the Drapery session, 7th week of the basic drawing series. Here we have an absolutely beautiful painting by Orazio Gentileschi. This is an Annunciation. So I want to study the drapery and like the fabric of the angel and also the figure of Mary over there. So if you're ready, let's start working on that. Okay, so it's a good excuse to start with the gesture first, because if you want to paint, you're gonna have this. It's better if you create this background so it's not white. So you add a kind of imprimitura. So you have this ochre background. We can use raw umber, that's also perfect. And then let it dry and paint on it. I'm showing you the process here, but you can use it in any medium you like, with acrylic paints, oil paint, watercolor, whatever, the process is the same. Okay, I'm just doing the part-to-part gesture drawing. Last week was about portrait. Last week was about portrait drawing, so now you have more information also about that, about the proportions as well. Let's add these flowers too, why not? The reason I'm using this type of references is to make you familiar with the pictorial tradition in the Western art. Because a way of learning art is studying from masters. And if you combine that with your own path and with your own studies from the nature, life model, or whatever, it's gonna have a great result. All right. How many folds we have? Because here we are talking about folds. That's the anatomy of folds. One thing here that's really important is the point from which the drapery is actually the tension point, we call it. Tension point. The drapery is coming from, okay? For example, you have a nail on the wall and you put a piece of drapery on it and it would fall like this. I said falling, so there's also the element of gravity, okay? When you hang your dress, it's gonna fall in a certain way. So it's important to know what type of fabric you are actually painting or drawing. You have to think about it as well. Is it light? Is it heavy? What kind of texture it has? They all matter. All right, the tension point here. If it's 1, you're gonna see a shape like this. If it's 2, you're gonna see this. 1 and 2. You're gonna have many twisted forms and folds and torsions like this, that we call them S folds. For example, you see that a lot on the arms here. It's full of S folds. We have the pipe folds as well. Call them pipe folds because they're like this. So it's important to show the volume of the fold you're painting. Okay, so the pipe fold is the most common fold that we have everywhere, and you see that everywhere. But there are obviously some varieties in it. And I think this is a perfect example of that. All right, start to put, this is the tension point here, it's coming down, and you see that these folds are going around the arm. You have many overlaps. I'm just putting these colors because I want to also show you how you can render shapes with colors. That's really fun. I know it's not that much simple, but just as an example, I want to do this arm for you. It's always starting with a real simple structure and gesture, and then the rest of it is just covering that, as you can see. Then we can work on the overlaps. So you see it's full of pipe folds, S folds. There's a really nice gesture there. I love the touch of white here. It's just great. The right place. I need a pure white here. Yes, that's it. These colors, by the way, we call them conjunct colors, because the shadow is not made of adding black to the hue, but it's totally a different color. The light side of the form is not done by adding white to the same color, because if I do that, you're gonna have, so let's say this is the main color. Okay, if I add white to it, you're gonna see this, but I don't see this color here, which means another hue was used to show the color. See? And then in the shadow you have more blue in it and a bit of black. So these are called cangiantismo. Cangiantismo. Which is a Florentine tradition of coloring forms. And it's absolutely beautiful. I love the effect of that. Michelangelo used that as well in Sistine Chapel. So when you have time, take a look at that as well. All right, then we have this beautiful yellow, brownish drapery with all these folds here. You see they have a direction, so right here, this point is the tension point. And then you have these zigzags too. It happens a lot in the folds. Again, you have that here. By the way, study Giotto as well if you want to learn how to simplify drapery and all these folds by using boxes and simple forms like this. It's absolutely helpful. Okay, now I'm gonna put the shadows with this and just render this part of it. So there's no need of adding white. Because if you add white or black, you're gonna ruin the beauty of the color itself. Alright, you see how you can simplify all that by separating light and shadows, and also using what I told you about the folds. It makes it much easier. Just need to practice this synthesis of forms and colors, etc. All right. I think you saw how all right, let me analyze again different types of folds that are here, and the way I simplified them in my drawing. So, okay, let me use another color. You have many of these S-curves, you see, and pipe folds mixed up together with a lot of overlaps here as well. Look, these are mostly S folds, zigzag folds here. It usually happens when you have the tension point on pelvis, and then all these parts, they go toward that specific point. You have it here as well, for example, because you have the knee. And when you have the drapery directly on the ground, you're gonna see this type of folds like this. Or take a look at. I suggest you to break down all these forms into boxes and planes, and I think understanding different planes on drapery is the most important thing. Forget about the fact that I use colors here because I couldn't help myself seeing the beauty of this reference, but you saw that it's possible to do the color study, the drapery, all of that at once if you have clear ideas about what you're doing. Okay? Anyway, I think Anyway, I would say that this was enough for drapery. You just need to practice more and more using those few rules that I told you. And I will also show you in the future more examples, how you can render that better, and we're gonna see how folds work in different type of texture, fabric, etc. But for now, I think that's enough. We will see each other next week on the light and shadow session. So till then, take care, guys, and draw. Bye-bye.